Got vasectomy after our 4-yo was born. Now wife is pregnant, so I got tested including DNA test. And the results made me ill. Finding out the truth about my wife. Original post. We spent 2 years together in college and got married the fall after we graduated. Spent 2 years exploring our relationship and finally got settled down and was ready to raise a family. She got off birth control and her libido took off, but it took 3 years for us to get pregnant, but we got a beautiful girl finally after a couple of months. My wife got back on birth control and had a hard time with it. Her doctor switched her meds several times, but she had bad side effects with each one. We talked about it and were unsure if we wanted another child, and since it was easier for me to get a vasectomy reversed later if we decided to have more children, I had the operation. That was 3 years ago, and after coming off birth control, my wife has felt better and intimacy has been worry-free since we can no longer get pregnant. We actually have it more now than when we were in college. Then 3 weeks ago, my wife was late for her period, which isn't that unusual for her. Then I noticed her breasts were a little tender, and she started what seemed like signs of morning sickness. Now I know there have been cases of nature reversing vasectomies, so I went to the doctor and had my sperm count checked and the verdict was I'm still sterile, but I didn't tell my wife. My wife finally went to her doctor and confirmed she was pregnant, and so she had me go to my doctor to get tested. I didn't go right away because I was literally sick from the stress of the situation. I had all sorts of sick scenarios going through my head. And in the end, I got retested and I took my daughter in and had a DNA test done. I got both test results back today and got violently ill after reading them. Yes, I am sterile and no, my daughter isn't mine. When my wife got home I showed her my test and she denied any wrongdoing and saying that there was a problem with the test, and I showed her the test from last week and she broke down crying. I finally got it out of her who she had slept with and that it only happened once and the condom must have failed. I made her tell me the story 3 times and each time I asked her if that was the whole truth and if there was anything else that she needed to tell me because another lie would mean we were through. She said that was the only time and she had never done anything like that before. I told her how much this hurt me and asked her how she could do this to our family and if it was worth it. I asked her if she wanted a divorce and she pleaded with me to forgive her and put this behind us. I said I couldn't raise someone else's child and asked her if she would be willing to terminate the pregnancy in order to stay together. She cried the rest of the night, but when we went to bed, she said she would do whatever it took to save our marriage. I never brought up the DNA test. I will contact a lawyer next week to see what my options are about if I have to pay child support on our first child. If she had come clean about the father of our first child, I could have swallowed my pride and tried to work to forgive her. But she thought she was in the clear and didn't need to confess to anything else. No telling what I'll never know. Let's have comments and Q&As before reading the updates. Paternity fraud should be a crime. Your wife may have been carrying on this affair since before you were together. I'm sure she sees security with you, but gets off on the sex with her affair partner. If it's been going on this long, that's a whole separate life she is living. You should do your best to find out who and let his wife or girlfriend know. You can look into having your name removed from the birth certificate, so you will not be held responsible for paying for someone else's child. If you are going to stay, then the bio dad should be made to pay child support. If I were in your shoes, I would blow up this relationship and start over with someone who respects and loves you. Someone for who you are enough for. Op's problem is that he is the father of record for the girl and likely will get stuck as the father of the fetus unless he gets an aggressive lawyer. The affair partner is likely a married man. Paternity fraud is insidious. I hope she's not getting abortion based upon your representations of possible reconciliation. She should make an informed choice. It would be horrible of you to represent that if she got the procedure, there was a chance for reconciliation when you actually know you will never stay with her. No. She has no desire to carry this baby to term. She told me this morning before I left for work that it was best for everyone involved if she had the procedure done. Evidently, her affair partner knows and wants her to abort even more so than I do. The fact that she is still in contact with her affair partner is not good. His son goes to the same daycare as the daughter, so they run into each other dropping off and picking up the kids sometimes. I am picking up the daughter today. I was thinking about asking if he told his wife yet. Now for the updates first, my lawyer is awesome. She had me bring in a bunch of paperwork, bank statements, and my medical and DNA results, and had me tell her my story. Her assistant sat in with us and took notes, while my lawyer went through my documents. After I finished, she asked a few questions and spelled out my options. I live in an at-fault state, which is good and bad. Good as in it gives us leverage, bad as it takes longer and much more expensive.